Do you know how many people are on Prozac and Zoloft? I'll ask in an audience. I got 15, 20,000 people. I say, how many of you know someone who's on antidepressants and they're still depressed? And 95% of the room raises their hand. And the reason is because those drugs numb you, but they don't change the cause. As long as you constantly focus on what's missing from my life and constantly look at the past, which you can't control. And if you're on top of it, you're focused on, what you can't control.
Well, that's why I got off, because I couldn't have any feelings. I was trying to like be in relationships and stuff. And it's like, girls would be like, do you like me? And I'm like, I don't, like, I would literally have to look at like history of stuff. Like, it's almost like I would have to look at my own past for clues, right?
Yeah.
Like on how I felt. And so.
Because you're being altered, right? You're being altered and not
it was too hard to get like a real feeling out of myself. And so I was like, man, I got to have some feelings or I'm not going to be able to make some choices for myself.
Good for you. That's really awesome.
But I want you
to know how the normal treatment is to put you on antidepressants and therapy or one or the other or both, right? So I asked the guys at Stanford, I said, you want to study it? Well, what are the meta studies? When you have multiple studies, they give you the averages. And they said, well, the meta studies show that 60% of the people who take antidepressants, and now they know SSRIs don't even work. There was a whole cover of Newsweek. A year ago in September, did you not know this?
Nobody emailed me. I've been taking
Nobody emailed you. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Go look at September of 2022, cover of Newsweek, says meta studies show the SSRIs don't work, but we keep selling them. Right?
Yeah, well, then what am I doing?
But watch this. Here's the stats. 60% don't improve at all. 40% of the people improve. The average improvement, according to meta studies, is 50%. So they're half as depressed as they were. Now, some people get well, but it's a very small percentage. So I said, you could almost do that with a placebo. And the guy laughed and said, yeah. I said, well, what's the best study you've ever done? The most effective study in science? They said there was a study done at Johns Hopkins about 5 years ago. Pardon me?
And what
this is from Stanford.
Who's Johns Hopkins?
Johns Hopkins Hospital has some of the best researchers and so forth.
Oh, good.
Right? And so they did this study, and here's what they did. They gave people psilocybin for a month, magic mushrooms, and cognitive therapy. I said, well, you ought to get some change out of that. He goes, yeah, it was the greatest change they've ever seen in the history of psychiatry. 6 weeks after treatment, 54% of the people had no symptoms of depression.
Dude, I take 4 stems and a Diet Coke. I'll talk to my sister for an hour, So I fully support that, sir.
But unfortunately,
but you're saying there's new methods.
There's new methods, but I said, okay, that's amazing. But I said, I think we'll do better, but let's see. So they did a group. They modeled that same drug study, did the same thing with me with no drugs. I put people in this 6-day seminar I have called Date with Destiny.